So, today I'm going to talk about how to live from the feeling of wholeness or being undivided, indivisible, whole. And I wanted to make this video because I noticed that a lot of manifestation teachings have gotten quite gimmicky and clickbaity. And yes, you can align your mind and emotional body to create things. But if you haven't changed yourself, right? If you haven't loved yourself, if you haven't accepted all parts of self, that broken image of myself is going to follow me to whatever I manifest, right? So if I hate parts of myself, do not accept parts of myself, do not accept parts of the human reality, right? My emotional reality, my body, being physically uncomfortable at times, pain. If I add energy to my life, whether that's a bigger home, more family members, a soulmate, whatever you want to call it, it's going to amplify what I already have going on in my vessel, in my psyche. So that's first things first. So, how do you guarantee that the things that you create will be enjoyed, will last, and will be shared and extended from the heart? The only guarantee is that you deeply love and accept yourself, right? That means you can look in the mirror and like what you see. And that's hard for a lot of people. And that's why something as simple as mirror work actually can be so deeply powerful, because most people are trying to outrun what they see in the mirror, what they think they see, by accomplishing, right? By being driven by accomplishment and validation. So if I'm deeply at peace with my sensitivities, my fears, my path, right? The ego has ideas of when things should happen. But that's like saying, that's like the ego being like, well, summer should come right after winter, right? If you look around, like the seasons change, the world is changing, big changes are always happening, and we're not doing that. Yet we think that we should be somewhere where we're not. We should have a family when we don't. We should live in another place when we don't. And it's okay to hold the vision of that. But the easier way to manifest what you want is to just fall in love with where you are. Because if you fall in love with where you are total, you are whole. You are total, you are whole. And that wholeness, the universe will take you down the river of life in that boat of wholeness to the next destination. But if I don't feel whole, but I try to swim down the river to the next destination, my boat is still cracked. And if you don't learn to love your path, then everywhere you go, you will suffer. Right? And when you're awakened, you feel pain more acutely because you don't have a sensor. But you don't suffer because you don't create time and you don't create expectations. You just deeply accept things and you feel them and they pass. So totality, right? The creator is undivided. The quantum field is undivided. The ego divides me from life and says, I should be something else. I should be somewhere else. I should look different. I should have a different life. I compare myself to others. The ego divides. If we live from the quantum field, we feel total, whole. And so therefore, what does that look like in the personality? If you made every moment total, which means it's complete, right? If I'm sad, be totally sad. Right? It's like the Zen saying, hungry, eat, tired, sleep, sad, sad. Don't divide yourself from it. Don't say, I shouldn't be sad, right? I shouldn't feel this pain. Just feel it totally. And of course, don't recreate it, right? We can get addicted to nostalgia. And I've talked about all of that in other videos, but I'm talking about completely, totally surrendering to everything. My body's in pain, completely surrender to it. And the pain and pleasure pathways in the brain are the same. So that means that if I totally accept my aloneness, right, the feeling of loneliness, in the moment of totality, I am like the creator. Therefore, I am actually nuclear energy. Therefore, I am the eternal wellspring of energy. Therefore, I'm no longer lonely. So what's ironic is that if you enter into a painful moment totally, you're actually resonating with the creator, which is completely undivided, which is nuclear energy. So the bottom line here is you cannot but be at the right place at the right time. What you want to do is fix your boat, right? You don't want to splash in the river or swim faster to the next destination. You want to repair the boat. What does that mean? The boat, my vessel, the boat, my perception of myself, the boat, how I feel about myself, how I feel about my life. Being grateful for where I am, even if that's just because I'm alive. I'm alive in this body. Like, you have the power to resonate with complete non-resistance, no matter what your senses are telling you is real. And that's what you really want. You want to be the creator. You want to resonate on the frequency of the creator, which completely adores and is in love with you right now, life right now, everything right now, right? The mind divides us from life and says, this shouldn't be happening. I should be different. I don't like myself. And so the ego, right, it really resists the end of the fight because then it no longer has a job. But the bottom line here again is just live totally. Because God already wants to give you everything, you don't have to manifest anything. If you just give in totally, if you fall in love with yourself and your life in the same way that winter turns into spring, right? In the same way that nature transforms, so do we. We seem to stay stuck when we resist, when we don't have faith, when we don't trust, right? The difference between us and nature is that we can resist with our mind what is. Nature can't, so it just transforms. You would also transform if you just mentally stopped resisting whatever this moment is, because God already wants to give you everything, more than your mind can probably ascertain. So live totally. If you're lost, be totally lost. If you're anxious, if you totally gave in to anxiety, it actually becomes ecstatic. And actually, that's true of everything. If I became totally sad, in the absence of resistance, I'm totally immersed in this experience called sadness. And it's transformed. In the moment that you are totally immersed in anything, at one with, the vibration of at oneness is ecstasy. So anyway, I might have repeated myself a little bit. My brain's a little cold because it's really cold here in Paris. But I just wanted to share this message. You're in the right place at the right time. May your goal be to fall in love with yourself right now, to like what you see in the mirror, to have your priority be your connection with that knowledge of oneness and perfection. Therefore, you fixed your boat, and therefore life, the rapid of life, will naturally take you to the next destination, just like the seasons change. but you're going to get there now in a boat, right? In a boat that's not going to flounder, that's not going to capsize. Because if you don't fix the boat, you're going to change your circumstances, which you can do, but you will have the same exact ability to receive and modulate energy, right? It's like that trying to put 1,000 watts in a 60-watt bulb. If I hate myself, don't accept my life, complain, compare, I'm going to do the same thing in a bigger house. I'm going to do the same thing with more money. I'm going to do the same thing with more people in my life. And that is even more destructive, right? If you have kids and you haven't changed the habit of like noticing people's flaws, noticing your flaws, if you haven't deeply accepted yourself, it's highly likely that you'll project that onto your children. Do I want to create children and do that in my life? And I'm not saying you have to be perfect in any way, shape, or form to receive more of what you want in life, but don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself and think that anything in the external world is going to fix your boat, because it's not. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.